Sorry to interrupt your rehearsal, ma'am, but about Mr. Beale. Surely he's coming home for the party.
Well, I should say so. He's announcing his daughter's engagement. Wall Street will have to do without him for a day. Mr. Beale thinks making money matters more than a restful family summer by the shore. But unless some act of God divine derails the New York Montauk line, he's arriving on the...
Hi, so we're here at Grey Gardens rehearsal with James Millar, Alex Rathgeber and Liz Stiles. How's it going?
Good. Yeah,
really good. It's really fun.
How are you finding the rehearsal period? Like, it's obviously a very condensed rehearsal period.
It's actually, we're only at the sort of halfway through the second week, so I'm feeling okay at the moment. It does seem quick, but we seem to be pretty on top of things. Like, I feel most of my stuff is almost... I'm going well.
Yeah.
So we do.
This is going great.
An extra week on top of the usual 2-week schedule. So.
Right.
Yeah, it's slightly longer than normal. So yeah.
Yes.
Does it change the way you come into a show knowing that you've got a shorter rehearsal period?
You come in with a lot of your preparation done before the first rehearsal, but
yeah, and just being a bit more familiar with the script, really, like, just have to be. We don't have a lot of time sitting around a table. You know, nutting it out, all the different beats, etc.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I feel like you make a couple of sort of strong choices and you can kind of go from there.
You're playing Little E.
Yes.
And you play it in the first act, and then there's Pamela playing it in the second act.
Yes.
How's it been sort of playing the same character but with another actor and matching your characters?
Pam and I had a lot of really similar ideas. And especially with having the documentary as a reference point, we both looked at that quite closely, and a lot of the physicality and especially the accent and the vocal, her actual voice, we're sort of trying to match that as similarly as we possibly can. So I think hopefully that will create continuity between the young Edie and the older Edie as well, like the young Edie in the second act as well. So.
Even for you, like the documentary is such a great reference point. Like, obviously the piece is based on the documentary itself, so to have that to go back to for everyone, really.
It's been really amazing to watch Liz and Pam find that common ground as well. Liz sits there and watches her in Pam's rehearsals for second act, and you can see her taking on the mannerisms.
Takes shape.
Yeah,
it's excellent. It's good.
I'm a stalker. I'm a Pam Red stalker. Yeah, I am.
So one of my characters is in the documentary, Jerry, in the 70s. But Joe Kennedy Jr. is largely, like, he was a real life person, obviously, but the character in the story is largely fictional. Like, none of the stuff actually happened.
It's based on an assumption
that they may have been engaged, which is very loose.
So. And possibly made up by older Edie. She mentioned something along those lines in one of the documentaries. But there's, you know, one of the lines in the show is hard to, I don't know what the exact line is, the line between the past and the present, but blurring that line.
Yeah.
And I think that is exactly the case with Jo, is that she brings him up as a person who she might have encountered in her life. She says she might have been engaged to him, but whether or not it's actually true.
And the writers obviously have just taken that.
Gone,
that's a bit of gold to go and, you know, make a huge big story out of.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
Yeah.
And my character, George Gould-Strong, did exist. He was a piano player in the house for Edith, so he's sort of a Cole Porter-esque kind of figure who drank and smoked a lot and ended up a Seventh-day Adventist and dying of alcohol poisoning.
Hey.
It's thrilling to play. And it is so full of great one-liners, particularly the second act. I mean, they are so
Yeah.
In Act 1.
In Act 2, the rapport between the two women is just something else. So it's really interesting to look at it in terms of structure. The first act works like an isolated musical, completely unto itself, with a very specific kind of flavour and tone. It's very sort of old world musical theatre, and then the second act completely changes and it becomes like verbatim theatre almost. And yeah, you know, there are long passages without any music, and it's a really inventive structure
and direct interaction with the audience.
Yeah, direct
well,
interaction in the second act, which doesn't occur in first act. But it's, as a writer, it's thrilling to work on something like that because it breaks a lot of rules. Pamela and Nancy are impossible to work with.
It's really awful.
Yeah, it's awful. I mean,
they don't sit with us at lunch.
Totally
obviously, and the guy
because they're not
names,
allowed.
not because of
much.
talent.
They're brilliant. It's an education to watch both of them in the room.
Yeah. Even if I wasn't playing a young version of Pamela in the first act, I think I would still watch her.
Yeah, because I do.
Yeah, I think we all do.
In other shows, which you guys well know, the repetition of rehearsals can sometimes get boring, and so you wander out of the room and make a phone call. But with this, it's like we're all just sitting there, totally captivated, watching the process of both those actors. It's
my second act character, Jerry, who's in the doco, he gets to spend a lot of time with the two women, and so I get to sort of sit there and listen a lot, and I just get to hang out in their bedroom. And so those rehearsals for me have been fascinating. Well, they might have liked that. But yeah, not me personally, the character. But yeah, so it's just been amazing. I've had a few moments where I'm sort of sitting there going, really? It's just me? Nancy and Bella. We're actually in the show.
And then, who's your show crush? Your Grey Garden show crush?
Well, I have to say Liz, because she's sitting on my lap.
Oh yeah, I have to say Liz. I'm going to say Pamela. Oh, you want to say Liz?
No, Pamela and Nancy are my... No, actually,
yes,
I'm going to go out there and say Bert. Bert's my show crush. He's going to love that I said that.
Yeah. That's because he helps you with all your
also have a
He does, but also Pamela is my show crush because each day she buys a sandwich and this is true, and she only eats half of it and then she gives me the other half, and each time I eat her sandwich I can feel the power of acting going inside me.
Yeah.
She didn't want the half of your sandwich today though, because it doesn't like
pineapple on it. She doesn't like pineapple.
There you go. Pamela
I also think
doesn't like pineapple.
Kelly Dixon.
Okay, I think it's fair to say that we all kind of have a show crush
on Kelly.
Kelly, but on everyone, like, except maybe you and I.
Oh, the mutual
don't have a crush on
the mutual love is disgusting in this piece.
Yes, I do.
Stop saying dirty.
Stop looking at me.
Good luck.
Oh, God.
The renters go home. The maple goes from crimson to brown.